Shoot, I hope you didn't just miss this whole thing. I apologize if you did. I'm trying to figure out. Oh shoot, I think I just I've been online for 8 minutes already and doing a review. So unfortunate for me. But let's start this over again. So originally what we're going to start off with is we have tag grading, right? So we have 2 boxes with 5 cards that we're going to review. We had 2 perfect order packs that we got right here. Boom. And we opened them already. And the hit that we got out of here, or out of there, was a Mega Skarmory. I'm not huge on Skarmory, but this is a beautiful card. So what we're going to do right now is just look at this. And I apologize. I kind of just messed up my own stream. Is we're looking at centering, right? That's the first thing we want to look at. Excuse me, before we decide on whether we're going to grade it or not. Okay, so we're looking at the bottom and top. There's a 10% centering tolerance for tag and PSA. Other grading companies have different rules, all that good stuff. So when we're looking at it, they should be fairly even. Top and bottom looks pretty good, right? Looks pretty good. The left and right, you can see that the right has a bit heavier compared to the left. It's kind of hard to see because of that illustration right there, but you can definitely see that the right is definitely heavier than the left. In my experience, if you can see that it's even slightly off, it's probably completely off from like the gem mint quality. So this is probably not a 10. This is probably a 9 just on the front centering. And unfortunately, if the front's off, it doesn't matter where the back is on or not. So the back has a really heavy top and bottom, and you can see, I've noticed this with the perfect order. I don't know if you noticed this before, but they cut at an angle. You can see that here, it gets thicker going to the right, right? So beautiful card, absolutely gorgeous. Really happy with this hit. So we're gonna go ahead and sleeve it, but we're gonna go ahead and put this into the trade binder. We're gonna call that one a no-go for grading. And literally, I'm gonna grab up my trade binder real quick so you can enjoy it with me. I never really trade cards. I buy a lot of it up front, just in cash, you know. So I should do more trades, but I just feel like taking like 70% trade or 80% trade, 80%, 85 is better. But this is my main trade binder. Got some cool cards in here. I'm one of those people that really don't like to get rid of their cards once they have it. It kind of pains me, especially if I pull it. Like this Latias I pulled. Skarmory, obviously. I pulled almost all of these myself. So it pains me to give them away. This Master Ball Glaceon is gorgeous. We got these from Paldean Fates. Got some cool stuff in here. Not anything crazy expensive, but we got some cool options. We got some One Piece in there as well. Okay, so we got that out of the way. We did our cards, and as promised, let's go into tag grading. This is my first time opening tag. I have gotten prior ones, but they were from the local card shop. So they just kind of, the way that they do it, and PSA does the same thing at GameStop, is they send you the card, or they send them the cards with just the slabs with the clear sleeve on the acrylic, and that's it. That's all they do. So I wanted to do it this way, even though it costs more to ship, because it costs you $25 to ship the cards back. Like you pay that up front when you get the card, and then you also have to pay to ship it out. So let me just pull up the chat here so you can see my face. But yeah, so it's like $24.99 if you go online and do it. Maybe I'll do a submission so you can just see the whole process in a live stream. Maybe I'll do that next week perhaps. But you pay for the cards, which is like $22. Depending on the tier that you pick, you can get 19, but you have to submit at least 20 cards. So you're paying for that. And then on top of that, you pay for the $24.99 to get the cards back. So you're paying for return shipping if you're doing them. Now, I think if you spend like $600 or $650, they send you a free package process, which comes with free shipping. And at $600, I think that's fair. I think that makes sense that they offer that option for you. Now, generally speaking, I just sent out 10 cards last week. And I go through FedEx. They don't recommend USPS because FedEx tracks everything. So I went through FedEx. I did 10 cards. The way I shipped it, it came out to about $15, $16. So I'm spending pretty close to $40 every time I ship cards out, regardless if it's 5 cards or 10 cards, because the weight difference isn't much difference. So it's better just to send 10 cards if I can push out $240. It's $220, $240. So keep that in mind when you're grading with any grading company. PSA does the same thing, and people get butthurt about it because you can just do it cheaper through GameStop. And I think that's very fair that you can do it through GameStop for cheaper. And I've heard they're actually faster if they have GameStop orders. I don't know if that's true, but they did my PSA order in 4 months. Is how long it took, which was fine. I think that was much faster than I expected to get back from PSA. So anyways, besides that point, let's go ahead and do the overhead camera real fast. I don't know what is in what order. I'm going to try. I've seen people try to open these by tearing them in the past or opening them like a pack, like right here, right? But I've never had that. So let's see. Oh, yeah. The problem is with opening it like a pack, which I think is just such a cool experience being able to do that. These open up way easier than I see people opening them at online. Like whenever people open them online, it's always like a hassle for them to open. And I can see why they don't open it like a pack, because if you open it like a pack, you can see the grade. Like I didn't see it, but you can easily see if you pull it out. So the next one, I'm gonna cut the bottom and pull it up. So we got this Mewtwo, which is a unlimited Mewtwo, I believe. And it definitely had a lot of damage. I actually just made the recordings for it, and I estimated, let's go to the screen real quick so I can show you. Let's go. Oh, sorry. Let's go back to me. Let's go back to chat. I'm gonna pull some stuff up. My drive, YouTube content, pre-grade reviews. Okay, and this is my proof, because I can see the grades before they come in. I can just go into tag and pull them. So I purposely do this because Google Sheets also has edit history. So I reviewed this on February 11th, and I wrote all these different notes here for it. So I guesstimated a 5.5. And if I go down here on the sell and click show edit history, you can see that I left that note on March 22nd. Okay, so it is now April 1st, and I just got literally the cards back today. The cards didn't ship until last week. So I definitely did this before, or put the grade in here before I actually got the grade back. And I did that on purpose. And if I go over here to some of the other ones, like I got the Regigigas, I already have a grade in here. It's one of the 10 that I sent out, and you can see show edit history February 22nd. I did a bunch of these reviews that day. So when I say I did the review on 2/22, that's like when I actually shot the filming of it. But the reason the grade's on there is because usually there's a few months delay between when I shoot the content, submit to grading, and then actually come back to actually give it a grade. But now that I'm doing that, like if you come all the way over here to some of the ones I've already reviewed, like I've done Dark Arbok. I did all the reviews. You can see here, I just did it the other day. I did all that review, but I haven't done the centering on it because I haven't scanned it. And that's why I don't have estimated grading, because I can't just grade it off of that. So that's the point of it. So I just wanted to show you that so you can see that I'm being truthful within my grade estimates, because I know eventually at some point someone's going to say I wasn't. And it definitely is possible to fake it, right? And be a fake MrGrade, but I'm not. I'm truly taking my best guess and hoping I can learn from this experience. So I guess a 5.5. And let's see what we got here. We got a 5. Not too shabby. We were 0.5 off. 0.5 off of that, which is super nice to see. Beautiful slab as always. Like, I'm not huge on vintage, or I wasn't big into vintage at first. But it's grown on me the more I've gotten into collecting. There's a little thing. There we go. I had a little dust particle in there. So that is absolutely gorgeous. And in the FedEx package that they send, they give you some sleeves, which they don't do the best job of keeping them clean. Like, I wish they would have put the sleeves inside of a sleeve because there's definitely dust on them. And then there's like finger marks. Like, can you see that? There's like finger marks on the sleeves. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. So we got this. I'm down here. Pull it down. Boom. We got a sleeved Mewtwo. Beautiful. Just absolutely gorgeous card. So we're going to put that one off to the side. We got a second card. Let's pull out the scissors for this one. And what we're going to do is we're going to go by the bottom, push it down, give it some space. Chop off the bottom. Boom. All right. So now, okay, this is the Zapdos from 151. And this is actually part of my master set. I think it's an absolutely beautiful card. And I wanted to get a 10. I was specifically looking for a Gem Mint 10 when I was searching for this card. So, with that said, and we got a Gem Mint 10 again. And when I say again, I mean, like, I was searching for a 10 Charizard. I was searching for a 10 Zapdos. What a banger of an option for us. Oh my gosh. Oh, look at that. Got some. There we go. It has some residue left over. And it looks like I need to clean this case off with some Windex or something. It's got some residue on the outside of it. But let's go ahead and put this one in another sleeve. So if you're wondering, like, hey, what do you do for your master set collection? So there's a couple of things I could do. Because I have a 10, this is worth like $480, I think, if I was to sell it as a 10 right now. And it's, when I looked online earlier, it is number 6 in TAG's population of 10s. So it's one of the highest 10s you can actually get. Has a score of 982. I think a 990 is pristine. I could be off when I say that. It could be like a 995. But it's one of the top 10s out there. So absolutely beautiful card. Incredibly happy with this. I just got confused where my Mewtwo went. Okay, there it is. So awesome. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then we're going to go ahead and pop open this other case. We got 3 more cards. We're going to go ahead and pop open. We're going to close this case up. I really like this cardboard. It's really sturdy. Really good option. Okay. And on a few of the cards, I put a Radiant Charizard. I have a 151 Blastoise and 151 Alakazam as well that were submitted. So I'm not sure which is what. They don't label the outsides. It would be really nice if they did do that, but they don't, unfortunately, and that's okay. Okay, this is the Radiant Charizard from Crown Zenith. I pulled this myself on my page. I pulled this and an Entei within 2 packs. So I had 2 packs I opened and got both of those. And I thought this, I think when I was looking at it, there was a blemish right here on the blast. It's really hard to see. There's a small blemish there. I thought maybe it would get a 9. Let me see. Let's go back to the screen and me. And let's pull up Radiant Charizard. So I put estimated a 9. I gave it a Gem Mint 10. I saw the dot near the Combustion Blast, which is the attack, which I was just talking about. No errors that were obvious in the back or the edge front or the edge, but I had a single white mark on the bottom corner. So like what we can do is we can go into the dig report, but I'm not going to spend our time doing all that. I want to keep this stream to an hour if possible. So, and then going to the Zapdos as well, I estimated a 10. I did call out some things, but they weren't anything severe. So even though there are some defects, you can still get a 10. And I think that's one of the things that people need to look out for is I was obviously off here. Oops, let me close this out. This is a good option to tell you guys to join my Discord on Guess That Grade. It's not very active right now, but I would love more people, and there's only like 10 people in it. So with that all said and done, thought it was going to get a 9. That's what we're assuming because some of the minor issues. But we got a 10 again from TAGGrading. What an epic day. What an epic day. That's beautiful. Card is gorgeous. I don't think it's really worth too much, but it is a Charizard. It's worth grading all Charizards as well as Gengars, in my opinion. Charizards, Gengars, and Rayquazas, I feel like are some of the biggest cards out there. And I could be wrong. I'm newer to the hobby anyway, so it's very possible. But that's what I tend to see. So regardless of if it's a small card, a common, a reverse, something from just a regular set, I'm going to grade my Charizards if I think they're going to get a 10, and my Gengars and any Rayquazas. So this Charizard deserved it. I thought potentially a 10. I was off, or I thought potentially a 10, but I speculated a 9 just because of some of the stuff I saw. Obviously, I was wrong by 1 point. Okay. What's this guy? Who is this one? Let's check it out. All right. I think I cut it well. Oh, did I cut it enough? I did not. There we go. All right. So this one, oh, this is the Alakazam. All right. So let's go ahead and go back to this screen and me. Let's pull up the Alakazam. I speculated here. I gem 10. I did that back on March 22nd as well. The centering is pristine, is what I'm saying there, which is like within a 2% tolerance. So let's go back to the overhead. And as we're checking this out, we're looking at the card. Comes back as a near mint, or sorry, a mint 9 from TAGGrading, a 943, 7 points below getting a gem mint 10. Damn, so close. So close, but such a beautiful card. Really, really can't be upset about it, right? Such a nice card. So because this is a 9, this is also part of my master set. But what I'm probably going to end up doing is cracking it and putting it into the master set binder so it fills its spot. The 10s that I get, what I like to do, I think I have some right here. I take this black small kind of card that I have, and I write the card name, the number, and then the serial number from tag if I got a 10, and I put that as my master set tracker. So that way I know which one is which. It's what I could do, and I think I was saying this earlier and I stopped talking about it. I got distracted. I'm sorry. Is the fact that like if I get a 10, like the Zapdos, if I care to keep this, I can keep this, store it, collect it, do that kind of thing. But the other thing I could do is if it's selling for 480, to sell this card, buy it raw for 110 or whatever it's worth right now, and just buy 2 of them. Or sell this, use it to buy another raw that's in good condition to put into my master set binder, because that's what matters. And then use the remainder of the money for the channel. So there's plenty of things I can do. The one card I will not ever sell, I don't think, unless I have to, is my Gem Mint 10 Charizard from 151. That one already, that's my first 10 I guessed, and that's the first 10 I got. So that one's a prized possession, has some nostalgia to it and personal value. So, all right, last card. This is the Blastoise then. Save the best for last, right? I think this is the most expensive card out of the set. I think it's about 170 right now for a raw card. And before we go into this tag, I don't think you need to see my screen again, so I'm just going to say it, but let me I'll show it anyways, just so you can see it. So I guesstimated this Blastoise would also get a 9 because I saw some micro dots near the bottom of the card. The centering was great. Micro dot on the card, only visible underneath angled light, only visible underneath angled light. Nothing wrong with the corner, the edges. 2 small visible specks with the naked eye, not significant enough to eye appeal to distraction. And one of the things I'm finding out is like if it's not visible to the naked eye and it's not a distraction, it's really not going to cause you to go down from a 10. It's got to be pretty visible, okay? At least for tag. So let's go in this. We got the Blastoise. Beautiful card. Centering looks amazing here. And we got another gem in 10. That's incredibly exciting. Beautiful illustration. Another 151. This 10 is going to go with my Charizard. I'm going to buy another slab mag that's a blue chrome to go on the outside, and then put it into another phantom case right next to his brother. I don't have a Venusaur 10. I do have a Venusaur for my master set, but I got 8.5 unfortunately. So I'll need to go on the hunt for a gem in 10 again. And what I'm finding here is I'm a little strict. I'm a little bit more strict than Tag is, and that's fine. And I'm learning, and all these grade reviews that I'm doing are months behind from what I'm actually posting. So, you know, by the time that it posts, I already graded it, and by the time I'm actually seeing the post, which is months later, I've already learned a considerable amount. So it's not like my knowledge is always delayed according to when the card comes back. Like I'm already like, oh, okay, I can see why this is a 10. And when I look at the dig report, I'm sure I'll see why. But beautiful, beautiful. So our stream started out with a nice pull. A few cards. We got the Blastoise 10, Radiant 10, a 9, a 10 Zap, and a 5 Mewtwo. Bought this from my friend for a few bucks. It was really nice of him to donate to the channel for a good cause. All right. So last but not least, let's put this all, I got some trash. I got to figure all this stuff out. Is we have to grade this Aerodactyl. All right. So we're going to put the cards down here. I'm going to start recording because this is going to be a YouTube video as well. I'm going to take the content from this and reuse it, because that's what you do. You don't want to waste the content that you're using or you're making. Put the scissors away. And I'm sad that my stream didn't start the way I wanted it to. I thought I had a really good presentation in the beginning. I had all the stuff laid out. I had like the perfect order, boosters, the tag, and then this card, and what order I was going to do this stream in. And I thought it was really good. And unfortunately, it didn't work out the way I wanted to. So, all right. So we got an Aerodactyl. I bought this from my local card shop called Unbound Games. Amazing place. Really enjoy them. And what we're going to go ahead and do is just get a microfiber cloth real fast. And we're just going to wipe off any debris that might be on there real quick. And what I like to do is also grab the sleeve, shove it under, flip it over. And just looking at this card, it looks amazing, but I can already tell you why it's considered heavily played and why I got it for $20, $21, I believe. But we're going to go through the matter of evaluating the card the right way. So let's do the first thing that I always do and put it on top of my sleeve. We're going to go back to my screen and me. And I've already put this into my scanner. And I already got it ready. So we're going to come here, go to Aerodactyl. We're going to grab the front of the card, drop it into the card centering app. So it's edgegrading.com, grading company I'm not affiliated with in any way, but I really do like their centering app. It helps me get a pretty good estimate about how well we're doing. So I'm going to go in here. We're just going to align that top, and depending on how you scan it, if it's not straight on, you're going to have some angles in here. So you just got to match the angles and be consistent. If you're going to do the left side, do top and bottom left side, right? So we have it here and here. It's a little off on the right, and that's okay. We could also just go into the app on here and then just change the angle a little bit and get more accurate reading. But I think this is sufficient. The only time I would really do that if it was really, really off. Okay, so we're looking at the top right. That's right on the inside right here, and that's right there. Boom. So even if it is a little off on the bottom, that's okay. This looks good on the bottom right. We're going to drag this one down so it's right on that line here. Perfect. This one's fine on the bottom. And then we're going to move this in from the sleeve onto that outside area. And you can see here it's a 6% difference. So when we do view grades, which is a super cool way to do this, it'll tell you it's a PSA 10 on the front. The tolerance on the tolerance on the front of the card is 10% for PSA and tag. It's the exact same thing. A pristine 10 for tag, I think, is a 4% difference. It's a lot more strict. But this is really cool because we at least know up front what we're looking for. So when we're doing the centering, the left and right has to be less than 10%. So you're taking 53 minus 47 equals 6. 6% is less than 10. That's why it's within the tolerance. Same thing with the top and bottom. Less than 10, 6% difference. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and save this down. We're going to do Aerodactyl front grading. And then we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to open this back up. We got to save. We're going to take the back. And in order for us to qualify this as a gem mint 10, they have to be gem mint tolerance on front and back. And the back is a little different. The back is a 30% tolerance. So there's a lot more leniency for tag. The tolerance for PSA is 50, unless they've recently changed it. But last time I checked, which was a couple months ago, it was 50%. So you could have a 25-75 card, which is wild that they allow that for a gem mint 10. You can see this isn't perfectly angled, so we're doing the top left again. That's kind of my go-to thing. And then down here, we're going to, it's hard to see because these are kind of overlapping each other, unfortunately. And then this is overlapping that. So we kind of have to take a good guess. You can't drag these up and down. So I'm going to do that. I'm trying to look like right here. That's my best guess. I think that's as best as I can do. And then over here, it's kind of the same situation. You got to look where you can. I think that's good right there. And this one's a little easier to see because it's just one. So I think we're good on that centering. We come back here. Okay, so 10%. So again, 30% tolerance for tag, 50 for PSA. We don't have a 10% difference. And even if this was off because of my measuring, so if we zoomed in really close and looked right here, even if that is off, which it is a little bit on that right side, by 4%, 4% is not enough to make it change to be outside gem mint tolerance for back tolerance, because it needs to be 30% or less. So we're good. So we're going to go ahead and save this. All right, now I can go over here. We're going to go all the way to the right. Take my template. We're going to duplicate it. Create a new name. I should have done this before the stream. I apologize. Aerodactyl. And we're going to come back up here, do the same thing. Aerodactyl. 1 of 62. We're reviewing it today. We're doing gem mint front and back. All right. So we're going to go there. Now we're going to move on to the surface of the card. We're going to do overhead shot. And we already cleaned off the front of the card. Pulling this up here. And we're going to just kind of scan the card. And what I personally like to do is start at the top of the card and then work my way down. I'm going to pull my mic a little bit closer here where I get in. And we're looking for any kind of blemishes, anything that's obvious to the naked eye, anything that's really standing out. And overall, this card looks pretty solid for how old it is, right? There definitely are blemishes in the artwork right there on the foil. So if you see that right there, right where my thumb is right in front of, boom. So that's kind of disappointing. But we already knew this was heavily played. We already knew that there were some blemishes, there was some damage that was happening here. I think one of the biggest things I can give for advice when you're trying to do this kind of stuff is if it's not visible to the naked eye, it doesn't matter as much. I mean, it definitely still matters, but not as significantly as if it was like underneath a microscope, for example. We have some smudge right there, right under wing attack. It's really hard to see, but I can put you underneath a microscope so you can see a little bit better as well. So there unfortunately is some residue that's happening here. Okay. Got some smudging going on the bottom down here. Yeah, this could definitely do with a clean. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to put this right here real fast. I'm going to pull up my other screen and then I'm going to leave some notes. So let me show you what I do when I say I use my other screen. Over here, we're going to say within the foil, there is a noticeables smudge near the tail. Then we're going to go down and put another note, and we're going to say there is a visible smudge again. Smudge or smudge under wing attack. And the reason I'm using the word visible is because there's when I say visible, I mean like with the naked eye, because there's a difference. If I am looking at this through a microscope, I'll say micro for it. And then I'm going to say multiple smudges near the bottom right, which is visible under angled light. So it's kind of hard to see those if you don't have angled light on it. But yeah, so let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's pull up the microscope so you can take a look a little bit closer so you can kind of understand what I'm doing. I got a new mat here to put the card on, so hopefully this works well for us. This is my first time trying with it, so we'll see how this goes. Let's get some focus in here, put the card down, and what I want to show you is that tail right there. So that black piece right there, I don't know if that's actually a smudge. That might be actual discoloration. So that's something to be noticed about, or to notice. Underneath wing attack, right there. That's not something I can just like, I'm smudging with my finger. I can't just push that away. So very interesting. And there's a dot right there, which I actually didn't call out. It's right above the resistance mark. So we got to call that out. The other thing I talked about were smudges. Like right here, you can see that discoloration. Boom, discoloration. Discoloration. So I'm just going to pause there for my recording. All right. So I'm actually going to go ahead and add and adjust my notes and say smudges on the bottom right. I'm going to say multiple discolored smudges. I'm going to say that there's another item, say small speck above resistance, noticed under micro, because it's not, I notice it, but it's not as noticeable unless I had a microscope, right? So like looking at that dot right there, that's something, but it's not something I would have noticed if I didn't have a microscope. Look at those edges, man. We'll get to that. We'll get to that though. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to the overhead. Now we're looking at the front. We definitely got some dots going on here. I can see the actual speck underneath angled light too, now that I'm looking at it. So I'm going to say multiple resistance small speck under micro and under angled light. Okay. Noticeable for us there. I think that's a pretty good speed review of this card. And the thing is like, it doesn't matter with tag. It doesn't matter how fast you go because they use AI. So like, if I stay here all day, I'm gonna have more noticeable things, but they're probably always going to find more stuff than I am. Okay, so let's put this over here. Now we're going to go onto the back. I can see a print line. It's probably very difficult to see. Let me pull up my camera. See if I can. It's right in that blue border. You can kind of see it right there a little bit. Right there. Right there. Perfect. So I would say it's more of a scratch than a print line. So I'm going to make a note of that as well. Go back over to my handy dandy notebook. What do you know? If you know where that's from, call it out in the comments. Light scratch under angle light on the top border. Okay. All right. And as we're looking through that, now I'm working my way left to right and then working my way down, obviously. Oh, and this is pretty damn obvious. Now I can see why it's considered heavily played. You can see that too, right? Right there. Right in there, right on that binder dent. binder dent. That's pretty significant. Okay, so that's why it's considered heavily played, because it's been completely indented. And if we're looking at this from, it's kind of hard for you to see. I'm sorry. It's hard to angle on the edge, but there's definitely a dimensional divot into the card surface. So we're going to again, okay, go ahead and call that out as well. Large binder ring dent on the mid right surface. I actually don't know if that impacts the edge or the surface more. I would assume this is more so surface than anything else. Okay. And underneath the naked eye and with some angled light, it's pretty clean. Like, I think this would score better than a Mewtwo if it wasn't for that binder dent. Now I do see one more thing. Let me tilt it this way underneath the angled light. If you can see it too. There's something right here in my right thumb. I don't know if that's a smudge. It's not impacting the actual dimensions of the side of the cards. I don't think it's an indentation. Let me see if you can see it right there. You see it? It's hard to see, but it's right there on that side of the card. So that's something. That is something to be noticed about, or to notice. But we're going to keep looking around. So left smudge right here. I think I see another dot down here, right where my right thumb is. And it looks like that binder dent right here actually has a mark. It creates not a crease. I wouldn't say it's a crease. It's almost a crease. But I'd say it creates a scratch that goes all the way to the left side of the card. But it's not as significant, but I definitely want to call it out. So let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and call that out. So we're going to say along the same ring dent, there is a large scratch visible under angled light that clears the entire card. Okay, so we know that. And then we're going to say this one on the bottom left. So we're going to say bottom left has a small smudge near the edge. And we'll look into that a little bit closer when we're doing underneath the microscope. Get the sleep trick right there. All right. But other than that, maybe a speck on the E. Well, let's take a look under the microscope. Let's look. All right, so you want to look at the E. Nothing really, honestly. Thought there was something, but I guess that little mark right there, maybe in the blue. Is that what I saw? Let me check again. Yeah, that's what I saw. So that little speck right there in the blue border of the E. We'll go ahead and call that out. So I'm going to leave a comment real quick. Small speck under micro and angled light on the blue border of the bottom E. Okay. Now, let's see if we can get a visual on the binder dent as well. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it very well just because of the nature of the lighting and how it refracts off the card. But it's right here. And then it kind of goes across the entire card. So there's that. Let's look for the smudge on the bottom right as well. If I can remember where it is. And again, because of lighting, because all that good stuff, you're probably not going to see it very easily underneath the microscope. And that's okay. I think it's right here. but it's really difficult to see. But that's kind of what we're looking at. All right. So for the back of the card, not horrible. It definitely has dents, which make it horrible, but the rest of it's not bad at all. So we're good there. We have our coverage for the surface. Now we're going to go into the corners and edges, which we're gonna fly by this. Like we're gonna do this pretty quick because this is relatively easy to do. We can already see off the top of our noggin here. If we're starting, we're just gonna do front, corners, and edges at the same time. If you're looking at the card head on, can you see any whitening? Right? Or silvering, I guess, in the front because it'd be holographic. And I can tell you, I can see underneath with my naked eye, silvering right here on this corner going down this edge almost all the way. I can see some on the bottom, on this corner, this entire left side of the edge, and a little bit on that. Okay, so I know that this wraps basically the entire card for silvering. For the back, it's a little bit harder to see, but we definitely have a white speck right here. You can see that more clearly against my glove. So we definitely have one there. We have a couple on the corner, as you can see. One white right there, small speck. There's a difference between like specks and then actual like factory cuttings. Like, so you have to understand the difference when you're looking at that as well. The bottom right, we can see some whitening on this edge right here at the bottom, and then also against this corner, which is really interesting. And we also have this white speck on the bottom in that edge middle. And we come over here, this one has some whitening on that corner, and then, yeah, there's a few specks on this left side. You can kind of see over here, and then the left corner as well. So let me show you that, because I know it's hard to see when you're just viewing on the video. So or on the overhead camera, but we're gonna go ahead and go to the micro camera so you can kind of see exactly what I'm talking about and get a visual. And we're gonna blast through this, so be prepared with your eyes, because this can be pretty quick. So let's do the top left corner. That's what we're looking at here. We see all this silvering, and this is very visible. And even if we, let me show you one more thing actually before I do this. Let me go back to the overhead. If you don't have a microscope, that's fine. You don't need one. It should just be visible to the eyes anyways. If you have a blue black light and you need to see it, if you can clearly see it, which is hard to capture with the light here in the camera, but you can see it very clearly and it highlights itself underneath the black light. So if you don't have one of these, definitely check out Amazon, get one for like $10. It's definitely worth it. But coming back over here, top left corner, definitely has plenty of silvering going on. And then we're going to fast pace this. So we got, the way I like to look at it, we can count it by specs, but I like to count it by percentages. I used to go like, okay, there might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, like that. But now I look at it from percentages. How much of that edge is covered by silvering? So I'm going to go across the top here. See some more silvering right there. I'm pausing just for a second so that way my camera can capture it. So that way also you don't get dizzy. And we got some right there. So I would say that top edge is probably about, I don't know, what would you say, 5%, 10%? So I'm gonna say corner on the left, what we saw when we went over here. I would say that's 100% silvering on that left top. So left, I'm gonna say 100% silvering. And we already did the top edge. Top, and we're gonna say, I would say that's about 10% silvering. And just for the sake of my note taking, I'm gonna do this a certain way. So bear with me. Bottom right. Bottom left. I'm taking notes. I know you can't see it. I apologize. Okay, so we're going over here. And that's probably 85%. So I'm gonna say 85% for the silvering in my notes. We're gonna do bottom right now. I'm gonna flip it over real quick. There's the bottom right. That's 100% silvering. And then if it actually, like if you can see some of the material, that's called like fraying, and that can actually impact the score even more. So we're doing that. And then bottom left, 100% as well. Okay. So pretty bad, in my opinion, on that front, on the corners there. I'm gonna do the same thing on the front edges. Let me just take some quick notes real quick. So top, right, excuse me. And this is what I'm doing. I'll show you my screen so you can actually see it. Right, and then we'll do bottom, then left. And I'm just doing this for my own notes. So that's what that is. Now let's go back to the micros camera. On the top, we already did that. So let's go ahead and rotate the card, and we're going to do the right side. Okay. So starting basically from this, where the borders meet right there, like if that's the center of the screen, and then we go straight up, I'm going to consider that the edge. So we're taking all that consideration. We got some bigger silvering that's happening here. Some happening right here as well. You're seeing a lot more, right? Like this is a lot more than the top of the card. You can see how the light refracting off of that definitely lets it stand out a lot more. And just imagine like a black light. Like this one definitely sticks out, right? Because it's taking up more percentage of that edge of the card. And even this is even larger. And so I'm kind of making up numbers in my head right now. Okay, so I'm looking at all that, and I'm going to say that's probably 60% of the right side of the card. That's silvered. Might be more, might be like 75, but I'm going to go with 60. That's just what feels good to me right now. This is the bottom of the card. Again, starting from here, and we're working our way around it. And there's some gaps in between, right? This might be a little bit more, some blackening right there on that. That's considered surface, that little black speck. Technically considered part of the surface. Something we didn't call out in our initial review, but I'm going to say it's probably 75% coverage. And then we're going to do the left side of the card as well. Starting at the bottom of the card, and then we're going to work our way up. And I think this left side was horrible, as you can obviously see. I'm going to try to reduce the light on my microscope if it lets me. There we go. Hopefully that makes it easier to see. Let me try to focus it in. I think it's as good as we're going to get it. I should be able to get a little bit more focus, no? There we go. I think that's much better. And then we're working our way through. I think this is, it's not 100%, because we can still see some yellowish kind of happening on the edges. But that's damn near close. And there's another thing we didn't see here. Let me try to wipe that off. That came off. But this dot I'm not familiar with. That's something that I didn't take in consideration for the surface either. Obvious underneath the microscope, but not with your naked eye. But yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing for the microscope with the card. So I'm gonna leave a quick note here, and you can hang out with me while I do that. I'm just gonna say this is probably, we're gonna say 95% of that card on the front, and that's just the front of the card. So we got to evaluate that front. We also got to now do the back. So let's go ahead and do that really fast as well. This underneath here. All right, now we're gonna do the corners first again, and then we're gonna go to the edges. So let's do that. So this is top left edge. No issues, right? Let's go to the top right. A little bit of whitening. We can see a little bit of that fray. So while I do that, let me take some notes here. So we're going to say corners on back, and I'm going to take my other notes and copy and paste them. So let's just do this. Okay, so left, I'm going to say NA. Right, we're going to say, what is that? 25% white speck. Let's do bottom right now. And we can see a little bit right there, right? And I feel like there's more that you can see, but we definitely see like one or two on that right side of it. I'm just gonna say not rather than a percentage on this, I'm gonna say two minor white specks. And then bottom left, let's do that. The back is definitely not as bad as the front, that's for sure. We've got a little bit of indentation there. Oh, I just kind of stuck to my finger. Apologies. You can see a little bit of an indentation, and I'm gonna say small push into corner with minor whitening. Let's say this is probably 30%. Okay, so now we got the back corner, so it went really fast. Let's go ahead and do the edges now, starting at the top left. And what we're looking for is the same thing that we looked for on the front of the card. We're looking for whitening, in this case on the back, because of the type of material that was made with, like this. One little speck. And that's the one we called out that you could see with your naked eye. We didn't need to use a magnifying glass to look at it. But the ones that you can see with the naked eye are the worst ones. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing with my notes real quick. Excuse me while I'm just stare at the corner of my card while I do this. Top, I'm going to say one white speck. Minor. And now we're going to go on to the right side of the card. I'm very excited to... did I count this as part of the right corner? Did I say this already? Yeah, I did. Okay. So that's not going to be part of the edge. I'm really excited to eat some Five Guys after this. That's waiting for me. There's one white speck right there, very minor. Not very visible with a naked eye, so we're not really worried about that one. Nothing there. And I know this is kind of going fast. There's another white speck, so two minor white specks. 3, 4, 5. These ones are actually visible with your naked eye. 6. There. Okay, so we're going to say 6 white specks with 4 being seen with the naked eye. And that does make a difference. That does make a difference. We already know the card's damaged anyways because of the binder indentation, so that definitely is going to hurt it. But either way, it's good for us to note down. Okay, so that white speck is actually part of that corner, so we're not going to worry about that. We're going to move on from there. Sorry, I'm trying to move my stuff around here. A little white speck right there. Very, very minor. Worth notating, though, right? Nothing else. So just one minor white speck. Let me see if I can see it with my naked eye. I can. Okay. So it is with naked eye. All right, let's go onto the right side of the card, starting at the bottom. Kind of working my way down. Okay, here we go. And there's other things that you can see actually on the edge of the card. There can be indentions. There can be scratches. There can be what they call fill or fray, which could be if there's like an indentation and okay, so like a fill would be if the card was pushed in, like let's say a fingernail pushed in. I call that an indentation, but they consider it as a fill, which means that part of the fill of the card that makes the card is missing. So rather out of 1,000 points, it'll say like 995 of the card is there. A little bit of whitening right there. That's more of can't even talk. That's more of an actual like cut. So I wouldn't even call that a whitening speck on the card. Yeah, these are so minor. I'm really. That one is this white speck. So I'm gonna say one white speck. All right. Now, with that done, let's show my face here for you. We can go ahead and actually sleeve this card up. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take it, put it in its nice sleeve, and then we already have a list of cards over here that we're going to be grading as well. And I need to get a a semi-rigid sleeve to put it in, because this card is now almost completely evaluated. Obviously, you're seeing my screen because we're not done yet. So I'm gonna put this down. So when we look at this and we take this thing into its full review, okay? So the first thing that we look at when we look at this card is the centering. We know that it's already potentially gem mint for the front and back. And so we know we're starting off with a 10 on the card there. Now, the surface is a little bit more dangerous. We see some noticeable smudges on the front. They're visible with your naked eye, so we know it's definitely going to impact us. And then we can see some stuff that's noticeable underneath angled light microscopes. That alone, that might keep us in the 9 space. I don't think that's going to drop us down to an 8, personally. I think that's just going to drop us down to a 9 just based off the front surface alone. The back, that's the problem. So we have a light scratch is definitely going to be noticed underneath their kind of camera they use. Especially when they do, I forgot what the actual methodology is called, or like the terminology is called when they do the scans, but they can actually see like the black and white of the card, which is really cool. But the ring binder dent makes this a heavily played card. So, excuse me, I would take off 4 points just because of that. Okay, so that's a 5. So we went from a 10 to 9, 4 points off. Now we're at a 5, just off the surface back now. Oh, my glove was farting because of the air pocket it was creating. That was funny. Anyways, so we're at a 5 right now. Okay. Then you talk about the silvering on the corners, which are very obvious on this card. For the corners in the front, almost 100%. And I don't know how much that'll impact it. It definitely takes it down a whole grade. I would assume so. So let's say a 4. Let's do the corners on front and back. Let's do both of those actually. I would say that both of those take it down to a 4. And then the edges might take it down to a what's that average for the edge front? 10, 60, 75, 95. So it's probably averaging around a 60, maybe 60% coverage on the front. A lot of white specks on the edge and the back, but not as significant. So I think that whole thing might come down 1. So I want to say 3. I want to say it's a 3. I believe it's a 3. And what we can do real fast is we can come in here and go to TAGGrading, and we can look at what does a 3 look like. So the image is within tolerance on the front. The back may show tiny silver on the border, but may not be miscut or have portion of another card displayed. Okay, did not even realize that was an option for us. The corners are 4 rounded corners, which these are. Extreme rounding with corner roundness starting to appear on the outside of the corner. Frame becomes dirty, which in this case we don't have a dirty edge. It's still white. Significant bends, which cause multiple corners to display severe surface defects. No, we don't have anything like that. Surface has heavier wrinkles or creases may be present. Still just 1 wrinkle spanning horizontally across the card is visible. This may be a wrinkle spanning approximately 3/4 of the card's backs vertically. Most of the card's gloss is now gone. I don't think we're that bad to a 3, just based off of those 3 things it's calling out. Then edges. All edge defects continue to worsen. Significant fill and fray artifacts, severe notches. We don't have severe notches. Large areas of chipping, dirtiness. Okay, so we're probably not actually at a 3. Let's see what a 4 says. 2 or 3, clearly rounded. And like, what does rounded mean? Exactly. Minor creases is visible on both sides of the card, possibly a wrinkle spanning vertically, approximately halfway across the card. This might be like a 3.35. If we go to grading, we go to grading glossary, and we go to R. They should have one for, nope, they don't have one for rounding. Filler phrase right here for you. We'll see what a dent means. A depression of the surface of the card. It's like this grading rubric is wonderful for us to use. Like this is super helpful, right? but I don't think it gives us, like, it doesn't give us everything. It's like, this is generally what a 3.5 has, but it doesn't mean other factors can't be mixed in with this. So I'm going to say officially, I think this is going to 3.5 because of the binder indentation, but I guess we'll see. Not 100%. I would love for you to leave a comment down below if you haven't already with what grade you think this card is going to get. I'm going to submit this. This tag is taking quite a while to get back to their cards. I think they extended another 3 to 5 weeks for the cards that they're reviewing. So it's very possible that this could take another, like, it might take 2 months to get back. But we got it locked in. You can see on the stream here, we got a 3.5, and I think it's a very good 3.5. I think this is solid. So I'm really excited to see what we get back. But if you enjoyed this, leave a comment, subscribe, and follow. Until next time, keep guessing that grade.
さあ始まるよ最高の時間カードの中見極めよう君も一緒にね知識を深めてプロの視点未来を占うのさせーの Guess that grade グレードを予想 Guess that grade 君の番だよ Guess that grade さあ始まるよ最高の時間カードの中見極めよう君も一緒にね知識を深めてプロの視点